I'm Özgür Taşar. I'm a multidisciplinary designer with an industrial design background. I've been at Philips Experience Design for about 15 years. Last few years, I've been working on healthcare projects. I think the satisfaction is even more. In my last project, where we are trying to help sick kids go through MRI-scan with a better experience without anesthesia. Typically, when you're scheduled for MRI-scan, what you would get is some kind of information leaflet in paper form, often with a lot of text. And sometimes you get a link for a movie on the web that gives you an idea about what you could expect in a hospital. But these are definitely like one-directional. It's informative, but you're not actively engaged in an active learning. Going through an MRI scan is no picnic, definitely, for children. It can be quite a daunting experience, actually, because they need to get inside a narrow tunnel. It's quite a large machine that makes very loud noises, very unpleasant noises, I should say. And they need to lie perfectly still there to get good quality picture, for anywhere between 10 to 40 minutes, depending on the scan. Often hospitals put young children under anesthesia, so they just make them sleep, and the procedure runs smoothly, which is nice. But anesthesia could have some health risks if it's done, especially repeatedly, which might happen in some cases. Because young children's brains are still developing, so it might have effect on brain development. And also it's known to have side effects. In addition, because of the use of anesthesia, the whole waiting time could be longer, and the stay in the hospital is also longer. And all in all, it's an expensive procedure because of the use of an anesthesiologist. So what we want to do in the project is to empower the children so they can go through the MRI scan without anesthesia. We wanted to improve the user experience of children going through MRI scan. We didn't necessarily have a clear direction for solution in sight. We talked to the parents, kids, child life specialists, pediatricians, MRI technologists. We also went to the hospitals and observed the procedures and documented actually what kind of, and tried to distill issues in that process. That led us into this kind of game design direction. I mean, because the target group is children, so we wanted to use the storytelling and gamification as a tool. Ellie's MRI journey is a gamified mobile app. It's meant to be used at home before coming to the hospital. We designed the whole app to be more modular. It consists of an informative movie designed in a child-friendly way that can be customized to the hospital the children will go to. An interactive game where they help Ellie-the-elephant go through an MRI scan. So they need to help Ellie to remove, for instance, metal objects, put on earplugs, headphones, things like that. And also need to make sure once the scan starts, Ellie doesn't move at all, so they could get a sharp picture for clinicians to use properly. And finally, an augmented reality module where they could explore a virtual MRI scanner on the table in their living room, literally looking around and see what kind of components MRI scanner has. So when they come to the hospital, they could recognize, they could find, oh, I saw that one in the app, and it can move like that, or things like that. And the idea was, by doing these three modules, children will go from passive knowledge gathering in the beginning, gradually towards active learning as they go through these modules. It's aimed towards children, obviously, but like a secondary user are the parents. And sometimes you see parents are more worried about the process than the children themselves, because children don't have any idea whatsoever what will happen. But parents could have some idea, and that they might reflect that worry onto their children. It's an anecdotal code, but it's like, again, one of my favorites. I think that some children felt their parents were more relaxed about that one. Children they really enjoy this funny way of learning things, and they felt that helped with the process. Maybe that's a good definition of good design. It just is out of the way. It improves the life quietly, maybe.